What's up, everybody? My name is Nye Johnson, and this is the first episode of Self Healer's Guide, a place to find practical and actionable wisdom around self healing and practical spirituality. So, what is Self Healer's Guide? It's a channel for people interested in spirituality and self healing, hosted by someone that has 20 years of experience doing the work to heal themselves and actually achieved successful results. But you're probably asking, what's practical spirituality? It's concerned with the actual use of spiritual and healing principles and therapies to achieve measurable results rather than only talking about them in theory. More practical, less figurative and philosophical. That's where my heart's at. My passion is to study any and every practical principle, concept, philosophy, and therapy to make them all actionable tools that you can learn how to use to heal and maintain your health, well-being, and quality of life, and to encourage the spiritual and mental health communities to engage the work to heal instead of bypassing the challenging, uncomfortable, suffering aspects of the healing process. I want people to know that completely healing a mental health challenge is possible because I've done it. And I want people to know that completely healing a spiritual health challenge is possible because I've done that too. And I've used spiritual methods to heal my mental health and psychology-based therapies to heal my spiritual health. Because I understand that when you're in the middle of a challenge, it feels like it'll never end, and it's hard to stay motivated when there aren't really that many examples of people that have actually completely finished the work to heal, and they were just healed. And they understood what they experienced in a way that they could explain it practically to others to help them on their journey. And so that's what I intend to do, because I would have loved to have met someone like me 20 years ago. The reason I'm so passionate about practicality is, on my personal 25-year self-help journey, I wasted hella time studying self-help books that are written about theories that sound amazing, but haven't actually been proven as effective, efficient principles that consistently offer experiential results. Because that's what I was after. I just didn't know that's what I was after. And so I spent a year studying a book full of theories and philosophies, and at the end of the year, I realized I still don't even know how to do the thing. I don't know the principle that is actionable that I'm supposed to act on in order to heal my anxieties. And so I just felt stupid. Entrepreneurs and gurus are notorious for selling books about ideas backed by claims that the author hasn't even proven for themselves. And sometimes working with a therapist can take a decade because the therapist has never used their skills to actually heal themselves. So they're guiding people from an uninformed perspective, basically chipping away through trial and error, that takes a course of fucking 10 years. Hence the term wounded healer. What we want to look for is healed healers. People who have healed themselves, therefore have the big picture perspective and context on how to heal you. So over the course of my journey, I grew increasingly focused on discovering principles, philosophies, and therapies whose effects can be experienced by providing actionable, experiential, and measurable results. What is an actionable result, an experiential result, and a measurable result? An actionable result is what you hope to be left with after reading a book that promises to teach you how to heal your emotional suffering with a process or a procedure to act on in the moment. Experiential results are results that you can experience in the moment or over an estimated amount of time. And a measurable result is a result that can be measured and recorded as evidence of the efficacy of a specific healing process. A great example of all three is the book The Work by Byron Katie. You could literally follow the directions and experience a shift in your perception of your problem that's causing your emotional pain, and experience in real time the pain fading away once you realize that it was your belief in your thoughts that's true that was creating the emotional pain. The results of her methods are so effective and experiential, she gives the directions away for free for anybody to try and experience on their own. And based on the measurable results, people buy all the rest of her books to gain a greater context and understanding of her work, to see how the rest of her work could potentially help them in other contexts of their lives. It's crazy. But this is the type of stuff that I'm interested in because it's experiential. So one, everyone who's done the work has experienced it and shared with you, their stories and experiential evidence, and everyone is saying the same thing about it. So then you try it out, experience it for yourself, and you know that it's something that you can use over the rest of your life to help you move through self defeating blocks and beliefs in your own life. Discovering utilitarian methods like the work are my passion because they then become tools we always have to maintain our mental, emotional, and physical health over the course of our entire life. They become resources we can use to perform maintenance on our mind, body, and spirit over the course of our entire life. To me, this is what spirituality is all about: being radically self reliant and accountable for understanding our health and well being so we can heal on a case by case basis. So I created this channel for everyone that's tired of asking, well, how do I do that? Tired of reading books that tell you to stop being self sacrificing without those books giving you the actual action steps to experience that result. I'm interested in action, research, more action, more research, a bunch of failures, and lots of progress. And I made this channel for people like me who couldn't afford to go to therapy on a regular basis, that can't afford to fly to India and study with a guru, or fly to Peru and work with shamans and do regular ayahuasca ceremonies. I'm not hating on that. I just can't afford to do it. And so I dedicated my life to discovering the how of every anecdotal answer, and I discovered enough of them to heal almost all of my anxieties and my family karma. All that shit. Took me 20 years to do, but I did it. And so, based on that experience, I cultivated the competence to put myself on camera and share my experience on YouTube, on the world stage. So now that you know my vision for this channel, I want to share the 3 most important values that I try my hardest to live by to give you a better sense of who I am as a person and a practical spirituality teacher. Oh, by the way, if you like what you've heard thus far, please consider subscribing, clicking the like button so the algorithm will share and suggest my videos to other people that are into spirituality and self-healing. You know the game. Ultimate value number 1, practicing non-judgment and working to perceive the world from a neutral state of unconditional acceptance. This shit ain't easy, dog. But I does it. Living this way makes it easier for me to maintain a state of mindfulness, live in the moment, and stay grounded and tapped into my intuition. Ultimate value number 2, always working to maintain an open-minded perspective. Keeping an open mind allows me to see and live outside of the mental and emotional structures of society, culture, and personal and social expectations, aka that bullshit. It keeps me more flexible, less attached to ideas and outcomes, and more likely to pick up on opportunities, solutions, and innovative ideas that most people wouldn't. I'd say the biggest benefit of maintaining an open-minded perspective is that it allows me to see both sides of a social issue and understand people that we might generally identify as bad or evil people. Ultimate value number 3. Don't be a believer. And I want to say that this one is the most important of the 3 values, because belief is a very, very difficult mental state to get out of without the right assistance. When we fall into a mental state of believing something to be true, what we're really doing is identifying our sense of self and identity to it, leading to our developing cognitive biases that become difficult to see outside of, all of which will orient our mind into seeking further evidence to validate our fixed state of perception. And the perfect example is the bullying phase of my life. Multiple boys used to pick on me, make fun of me, call me hella ugly and hella black. And they used to always, just make a big deal out of my appearance. Girls never did it, but boys did. But check this out. Because so many boys that didn't even know each other and didn't even know me said this about me, I believed it was true. And so then my mind just started to assume that that's what all the girls thought about me too, even though no girl has ever called me ugly. And when girls began to tell me I was attractive, I would get mad and ashamed because I perceived them as pitying me, because I already knew I was ugly, because I believed what those boys said was true. And that is the importance of belief. All you have to believe is one fact, and your mind will create a whole narrative around it for the rest of your life. Because this happened to me from the age of 5 to maybe 15. And so from 15 to 35, no, from 15 to 25, and so from 15 to 25, my brain was just cooking up a whole movie, cooking up a whole novel of lies and assumptions. It was so bad that when people would look at me, my mind would automatically assume that they were looking at how ugly my skin was. Like the cognitive biases were insane. It took me 10 years to navigate my way out of that belief. And so I'm telling you this story to really narrate the power of belief. Once you believe something, your mind will just do the rest. And so it's really, really important to protect what you believe, to the point that, similar to the way that we fall in love with someone, often the transition from seeing someone as a stranger to seeing them as a person you just fell in love with is a very objectively influenced experience facilitated by your subconscious mind and not you, which is why we call it falling in love. We also fall into beliefs too. So I live by the idea of never believing anything anyone says, but I keep an open mind to the experience, and I keep myself accountable for doing my own research, and I rely on the evidence of my own experience before I even consider the possibility of anything that somebody else says is true. And I encourage you all to live by the same principle. Don't believe a damn thing I say. Just consider its possibility to be effective, do your own research, try it for yourself, and come to your own conclusions. We disempower ourselves by just believing something someone says because they're popular or even credible. Even if you find that over the course of a number of years that everything that I've said is true and you believe that you trust me, never trust me enough to forfeit your own responsibility to seek your own answers and trust your own experience. Because I'm not always going to be right. Nobody's always going to be right. And we rely on other people to call us on our mistakes, when it happens. And that's the purpose of community. To watch each other's backs by relying on the evidence of our own unique perspective. But when you forfeit your perspective and the person that you believe you trust makes an honest mistake, there's no backup. So it's always important for you to be accountable for having your own experience and trusting your own experience and using that experience to look out for your peoples. All right, so that's the end of episode 1. Thank you for everybody that hung in there with me. I'm excited. I look forward to making more videos. My passion is studying the most efficient use of each therapy, principle, healing modality to make the most practical use of them over time, to shorten the learning curve for people who are just starting their spiritual journey, for people who are just starting their mental health journey, and are passionate about healing, whether they're working with a therapist or not working with a therapist. If we don't have the money to work with professionals, what are we going to do? But do it ourselves. At least try. You can't live your life suffering without making an effort. And I'm proof that it's possible, and I'm proof that it works.